definition of the financial management, where taken management, normally in the Indian books, it is being said the two type of the objectives: profit maximization and wealth maximization. You maximize your profit or you maximize your wealth. Wealth means total assets. But I'm specifically of the opinion that maintenance of the liquid asset is very important, because whatever the good bungalow you have in the Saibag area may be of a crores of rupees, but if you are not in a position to pay the newspaper person the bill, next day onwards he will stop to deliver the newspaper to you. He will just say that my 200 rupees is important. I have no willingness of your curse of rupees bungalow has no meaning for me. So maintenance of the liquid asset is quite important. The other objectives of the firm are to ensure that at shareholders, means the investor who have invested the money in the form of capital by the owner or from the public at night, like Apollo Hospital is a publicly listed company. So the shareholders are also looking towards the fair return, which normally in our day-to-day work we are saying the dividend amount to be received by us, dividend amount. Second is going to be build up the reserves for growth and expansion. For growth and expansion, you require the money to be kept aside so that at any point of time, if you want to increase the number of bed or so in the hospital, you have the sufficient money is available. Third is going to be the quite important, is ensuring the maximum operational efficiency. You should increase your operational efficiency to the efficient and effective. You have any idea about difference between efficiency and effectiveness? Very nicely we can understand the efficiency and effectiveness by considering the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital. Like we can say the operation is successful, patient expired. Operation is successful means doctor have done efficiently, but patient expired, so ineffectiveness is happened. So this is the normal words I am using to understand the efficiency and effectiveness. So efficiency says that how much output you receive from the input, while effectiveness talk about the quality of the output. Okay. It establishes the financial discipline in the organization. Now, scope of financial management. Every finance manager have to make sure that they estimate the financial requirement season-wise, week-wise, month-wise. Like a hospital have to take the care about environmental changes, what are going to be happen, and how much expected patient inflow during the particular period. Based on that, they have to manage the medicines and everything. So, estimating the financial requirement. Now, once we decide to decide the finance, we have to work out that how much quantity, quantum of the equity or debt to be taken. Now, whether the debt is to be taken on the long term by debenture or from the banking system. That is known as a selecting of source of finance. Number of times it's happened to every organization that extraordinary cash being available with them. It means that there is a excess cash balance is there, which they feel that going to be sufficient, need not required for next 10 to 15 days. Then for that, those next 10 to 15 days, they have to investment in such a way that the financial benefit in the terms of interest income or capital gain should have been happened, which require now for that purpose there is a need is happening to make the proper cash management by the organization. Now, when we make a proper cash management, there are going to be the financial controls are to be established. That how many, what is the authority of a particular officer to sign the check? Like it may be said that a particular officer have the authority to sign the check up to 10,000 rupees. Then it is basically considered as a one of the very significant parameters for the organization to achieve. How much cash disbursement can be done can also be worked out. And then we have to make the proper utilization of surplus. So when we say that whatever the surplus is there, it should be properly utilized. So here, in short, we can say that need of the financial decision is of three types. Number one, decide the financing parameters. Number two, decide the investment decision to be done by you. Where to invest the money, whether extra bed capacity to be made or not. Now to achieve that, whether to go for the debt or the own capital. Now if there is a ample amount of profit is happen, then how much profit should be distributed by way of dividend among the shareholders is going to be quite important. That is the dividend decision. So finance department structure is basically coming off typically of the hospital. Hospital is a very important thing. Here I have used the word comptroller, not the controller. It's a very different thing. Comptroller means he is going to be making the internal audit and verify the each and every expense and income happen. Does it received in time or not? So finance department is organized by there is going to be the chief financial officer, which normally you used to say CFO. You must have heard this word in your place. I already said I am not saying controller, but I am saying comptroller. So comptroller is going to be make the internal audit, making the unnecessary budgets, establish the certain limits, and making sure that everything is done according to the pre-decided criteria. And then he reports the same to management. While the treasurer, normally in the Indian organization, the treasuring work is given to the outsider. That is the consultant, financial consultant, who advise the top management that how to acquire the capital and where to invest. So certain specific financial investment techniques are being used. Those are known as the capital budgeting or investment decision. It's a very systematic study have been done by considering the simulation study, sensitivity analysis, and risk management. And based on that, they define the debt level. Now, when we try to be talk about the same thing, now the question is coming that we are talking about the financing decision. Then finance is going to be available from the financial market. And those financial markets are governed by the two things. One is going to be governed by the long term and one is going to be governed by the short-term parameters. So here we can say the long-term is going to be governed by the Stock Security Exchange Board of India. They are going to be managed the fund. While the short-term funds are managed by the Reserve Bank of India. So whenever every 3 months the Reserve Bank of India meeting is happening, on businessmen, on economists, on finance person are very conscious on that. And that shows the effect of increase or decrease in the or boom or recession position in the stock market. So financial market consists of two things, capital market and money market. Capital market, when we say the primary market, so primary market, it means that it is a new securities are being issued. You must be hearing the voice of the IPO, initial public offer, offer, or secondary market, which is issued by the security market. So this is basically known as Bombay Stock Exchange. In Ahmedabad, we are more concentrating on the Bombay Stock Exchange because Bombay is the commercial capital of India. And that is why the BSC plays the significant role. Now, long-term financing have been done with respect to the long-term debt capital, means how much long-term debt we should take it. Government of India, when constructing the dam, bridges, highway, they are issuing the government bond of 50 years maturity period. So that money being available for 50 years. Like that. But companies are not allowed to issue the debt capital more than 20 years. Maximum limit is 20 years for the company. Normal company. Equity is going to be the ownership capital. That is in our case, we have said that Dr. Shanti and Yakesh have brought the money into the business, Medicare. If you recall the accounts, that is the equity. Now, what should be the proportion of capital and what should be the proportion of debt is going to be decided by the capital structure. Now, whenever we are taking the debt, we are paying the interest, and interest is considered as a tax admissible expense. Means income tax is going to be saved. So the effective cost of debt is lower. While in the case of dividend, company have to pay the dividend tax also. And shareholders are taking the more risk, so they normally expect the higher level of return. So that is going to be the parameters to be considered in the very detail in the financial management. Now, capital investment decision. This is also done by the professional cost and management accountant or the chartered financial analyst. They where to invest the money. So they try to make the cash flow estimation for next 15 to 20 years time. And then they assume the constant growth of the business or stagnant growth of the business. And based on that, applying the so many different techniques available, the capital investment decisions are taken. Then next is coming to the break-even and profitability measure. Break-even. Break-even means a point where the organization have no profit, no loss. It means that income is equal to expense. And that is the break-even point, maybe work out based on the number of patient bed. You must be knowing that in the healthcare sector, every doctor has been saying that patients should be there referred by them for a certain number of bed days, patient days or so. The objective is that whatever the immunization they are paying or honorarium they are paying to the doctor, doctor should provide the sufficient amount of revenue to them. I'm using very bad word, but it is fact. Based on that, they will decide the risk. They calculate the risk. That what is the risk being happen, and those risks are going to be incorporated in the decision making. I'm now just taking a few financial sources that is very popular topic which I'm not touching in detail but just giving the name. Working capital management means current asset. How much medicine, drugs, on type of the medical facilities should be available and immediately should be available. To get this current asset, how much current financing is to be managed. Then analyze the financial performance. It means that interpret what is the level of break-even, what is the level of profitability, and so. Now, instead of, as we know, that instead of to purchasing the vehicle by paying the outright cash, we are taking it based on EMI. That is by taking the note. The way EMI is happening to the individual life, the same way it is going to be happen to the corporate life. And that may be considered as a property is taken on the lease. Normally, the government of any state or central reserve some land area and they give it for the 99-year lease. Our residential property is also number of time on the lease owned land. So when we buy our property, we should read in the agreement very clearly, does it lease owned land or the self-occupied land? Lease owned land, now if it is of the 99 years, then at the end of 99 years, government will take over the possession of it. That is one of the very important. Whenever one hospital is going to be by the another hospital, there is a valuation of the business is to be done. That is known as business valuation. Now I come to the very important point about a healthcare financing. How we should do the healthcare financing. That is your interested area. That mobilize the fund for healthcare. And that is why you know that majority few hospitals does not have their own CT scan machine, MRI, or such type of costly equipment. They do not buy it, but they make the arrangement because whatever the finance is available, from that finance they want to create the structure for the number of patient bed, inpatient facility to be made available, OPD facilities needs to be made available. Second is going to be the allocation of funds to the regions and population group. Yes, it's a very important. Regions and population group. Like when we try to be look towards the majority healthcare sector where the food are being provided to the nutrition foods are provided to the patient, but patients are being asked and patients say that I am a pure vegetarian. Some person like us says that we are pure Jain. So they have to manage the funds for those activities categorically. Because patients are coming from different population group, different region also. And then there is a specific type of healthcare is required. For that also, the necessary arrangement is to be made. And then they have to make the mechanism for paying the healthcare. That how they are going to make the payment to the supplier of medicine, supplier of grocery item in time, so that healthcare activities are running smoothly. So healthcare financing services are financed broadly through the private expenditure or public expenditure or external aid. Like private expenditure, that's very easily understandable. Public expenditure, it means that the VS hospital, what I understand, is being financed by Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. So it is public expenditure. Or there are going to be the certain hospitals, those are getting part of the support from the government by way of grant, or they are getting the support from some of the trusts to run the healthcare service. So public expenditure include all expenditure done by central and local government fund spent by state-owned or para-state-owned enterprises. Para-state-owned enterprises means Nagarpalika, municipality so, as well as government and social insurance contribution. This social insurance contribution is mainly done by the trust. This portion is always being provided by the trust to work in the systematic way. And that's going to be the one of the significant point to consider. Now the question is coming that where the services are provided are paid by tax compulsory, so health insurance can be done. You must have heard the words of ESIC, ESIC, patients are there, which is the Employee State Insurance Corporation, which is basically supporting the workers to benefit from the healthcare facilities. Voluntary payments by individuals or employers are private expenditures. Some rich people are making the voluntary payments to support the hospital activities. External sources is the external aid which comes through bilateral aid program or international non-governmental organization. Whenever in the African countries like Zambia also some problem is happening, some epidemics is happen, then government of India is providing the support for the same. That is international non-government. It's an international government organization, but they are going to be the Aga Khan Foundation. Aga Khan Foundation Trust is a very famous trust. They are being an internationally non-government organization and providing the healthcare facilities. The ownership of the facilities used whether government by government or social insurance agency or non-profit organization or private individual, private companies is not irrelevant. Mechanism of the hint financing. How we can get the mechanism of hint financing is happening. General revenue or micro taxes. Our government of India also whenever making putting up their budget, financial budget, they are saying that the healthcare sector certain next crore rupees have been kept aside for the healthcare services to be promoted. Social insurance contribution. Now, whenever individual person is paying the insurance premium to the private insurance companies, now those companies are going to be make the payment of the patient whenever is being required. There is in the US, there is a social insurance contribution is there. From their monthly package, the contribution is being taken that is known as social security premium. We have the community financing. I already said that Aga Khan Foundation Trust is providing the support. Sometimes some of the community is also being providing the financing support. Other one, the patient is directly making the out-of-pocket payment. Means he make the payment from his own pocket. Each method distributes the financial burden and benefits differently. Different way the benefits having happened. Each method affects whom will have to health care. This is one of the very important point. And that is why our government of Gujarat or India's Ayushman card is specifically for the certain community or certain age level, sorry, income level person have been being benefited for that. And the financial protection have been provided. Now there is a change in the own of the government is happening. It's a very important word I use that it is now considered as a public good. Very important word. Means in the society interest is to be done. Government needs to actively participate to avoid market failures. So whenever I think Khyati hospital or somewhere, whatever happened in India, government actively involved in those activities, which is a newspaper published news, so there is no problem. In finance of India's characteristics, this is very important in brief. Government fiscal effort. Fiscal means it's a budget. Budget is providing, government of India's budget is providing this facility to the healthcare sector and on social service sector. That is the proportion of total government expenditure spent on health again identified India is a lower performer in compared to other countries. In a global ranking of the share of total public expenditure earmarked for health, only 10 countries had lower proportion spent on health. The out-of-pocket private spending expenditure dominates in India. 82% spending is coming from the private sources. People are paying from their own pocket. Here also there is a tie-up is happen between the insurance company and the hospital. Now the moment it is known that person in insurance is set in X rupees, then same hospital will try to recover the thin X rupees. Now balance period of year, if the patient is readmitted, his personal expenditure, personal spending is happening. This is one of the very important points. Hospitals are saying when first time admitted, oh, you have 3 lakh rupees insurance, don't worry, we will take care. And the bill is coming to nearly 3 lakhs. But now the balance period of year, if the patient is second time admitted, it is coming from his own pocket. And that is isn't into. This is the pure statistics by the government of India, that 82% spending is happening from private sources. Globally, 5 countries have a higher dependence on private financing. That is what World Health Report 2000 has mentioned. About 10% of Indians have some form of health insurance, mostly formal sector and government employees. You know, there is another tie-up is happened. This is one of the very important points, that's why I took it. But I use a better word, joint venture, okay? Where the relationship is being established between the physician to physician. One doctor is holding, like Xavier Hospital, headed by one individual doctor who is a knee specialist. I don't know his name, but he has a tie-up with all other physicians and surgeons who can come to their hospital and operate the patient. I think I just give the Xavier name because Xavier is just near to my home. So I know the number of ambulance entering into and the number of dead body one is going out. Okay? This is the issue happening. So physician to physician as well as physician to third party investor. Some people are basically investing in the hospital management without knowing about medical activities. That joint venture are possible and subject to similar law. This type of transactions are usually project driven and intended for development of capital structure. That is the hospital building and everything. Example I give it, specialty hospital, multi-specialty hospital nowadays use. Second, management services arrangement, where doctor have made some arrangement with a particular group of hospitals. Under arrangement, there are going to be the freestanding center where Khyati Hospital have done the same thing. They have made a free medical checkup and the patient came to them. That is known as freestanding centers. Free of cost test is done and become the patient. Then pay for performance. That is normally happening for all privately employed doctor at majority of places. Block leases, there is a land or some property having taken on block lease, and there is a medical directorships having happened. This is I have taken it from the Healthcare Financial Management Association. They have officially put up this information on their documents. So I put the source category. Now, joint venture, very important. It is organized, very nice thing. It is organized if certain parameters are being happening. Number one, legally permissible if one of the following make physician may contribute the financial capital, where financial capital part have been provided for the civil hospital by the main Badodia or some doctor name is there. He has provided. Yes, he has provided that. Then he has made a business expertise by making the arrangement with other physicians. You know, hospital is mainly for orthopedic, but there is a heart operation is also undertaken. Angiography or such type of thing is undertaken. So it's a business expertise, and so those physicians have the business acumen that they are establishing by way of business acumen that how it is to be done. With this, I am completing the portion of the financing